Well, it's the first time that this carriage has been used at a coronation. It was delivered to Queen Elizabeth II in 2014 and used for the state opening of Parliament that year and on a few occasions subsequently. But of course, therefore, it's never had the chance to be used in such a historic and important occasion. The interior is inlaid with specimen woods from places such as Balmoral Castle, from Osborne House on the Isle of Wight, the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh, but also from places and people associated with British and world history, as a fragment of Florence Nightingale's dress, for example. I think what's really extraordinary when it's on the move is that it's actually really tall. It's significantly taller than any car on the road today, and it has this huge gold crown on the top, amazingly carved with oak from HMS Victory, one of the Royal Navy's 18th century flagships. And it's incredibly exciting, this gold coach carrying the sovereign, beautifully lit inside, so that they can be seen by the crowds on Coronation Day. Mm-hmm. And then you can tell me where.
Yes.
Not in there, so we'll always find it.
Really? He's good for his age, though, isn't he? We never know.
This coach will be the centrepiece of the much larger and longer procession from Westminster Abbey back to Buckingham Palace on Coronation Day. The coach is huge. You might be able to tell that from how I'm standing beside it. It's nearly 4 metres tall, it's over 7 metres long. It weighs 4 tonnes. Because of that, it can only be used at a walking pace, which really adds to the majesty and the stateliness of this great royal procession. It's the second oldest working coach in this country. It was built in 1762, which makes it an incredibly old working coach in the world. There are very few monarchies which have retained coaches working of this age, and therefore it's an incredibly special thing to see, really harking back to a couple of centuries earlier, a world we probably can't imagine today, of carriages and horses on the streets. Well, I think one of the most important things is it's really tall, so it's relatively easy to be seen in a procession from a really crowded street. I'd be telling them about the amazing gilded wood, these carved figures of tritons, these classical figures which proclaim the arrival of the sovereign. And unfortunately, because they're slightly lower down, it's covered in painted panels, works on canvas that exemplify what the sovereign in 1762, George III, believed that he would bring to his nation. So protecting the arts such as architecture and sculpture, protecting peace in this nation. There's figures of Mars and Minerva, the classical gods of war, but they're not at war, they're actually holding the British crown aloft. So there's lots of messages and symbolism in the coach, and we could go on for hours perhaps about it, but we really don't have time. When it passes you in the street, you'll just have this glimpse of gold with the sovereign travelling inside.
It's quite difficult to get it out of the here Obviously it was not designed to fit in here, so we have to take down a window and the part of the wall to get the actual vehicle out. But with the amount of staff that we got, it's quite easy to push it out.
Obviously, because of the horses, you've got to, when you get on that position, you've got to be the person in charge, and you've got to show the control to show the horses we're okay and we've got this, and it's all one big team effort. So we've got 8 horses which will be strapped to the gold coach, 4 postilions and walking grooms all the way around, and we're all there to make sure that the king gets there safely and returns safely.